Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Trisha. This is my YouTube channel, 3 Yellow Threads, where I talk about cross stitch and quilting and whatever other little hobbies that I'm into in this moment. This is Pepper. I think in my last videos, we've seen each of my cats. If I have not talked about them, I will. I'll take the opportunity. Last summer, my family adopted 3 rescue cats from a local rescue. We started with just 2, the black cat Pepper. Pepper Jack is his full name. And we have the orange fluffy one that I think you saw in my first video. That's Colby Jack. And we had Pepper and Colby, they're brothers from the same litter. They're litter mates. We had them for a couple weeks and then we went on vacation. So we took them back to the rescue to be spayed or neutered, whatever boys are, I always forget. And she was going to keep them for the week because they were young and I didn't want them to be home alone. So it just happened to work out that it was time for them to be fixed. So she kept them for the week while we went up north. And when we dropped them off, the whole family dropped them off, but I took them in on our way out of town. And there was a kitten there that was crying. I could hear it in the other room. And she's like, oh, that's their other litter mate. The only female, her adoption fell through. So she'll be so excited to, have her brothers back for the week. And I was like, oh. And so I dropped them off and got back in the car and said to Leaf, if she's still there when we come back in a week, I want to adopt her. And he's like, I just call her and tell her we'll take her. So I called her from the road 10 minutes later and was like, hey, we'll take her. So Bree, who I think you saw in my last video, she was the only female of the litter. She's a Dilute Torby. So tortoiseshell tabby. So she has the markings of a tortoiseshell dilute because her fur is diluted. It's not very pigmented. And then tabby because of whatever her tiger markings are. So that mom had 4 and the other tiger was a female. So I think, or not, the other orange cat was a female. Anyway, so Bree, we named her because she had to have a cheesy name too. So Pepper Jack, Colby, Bree. Now you're caught up on my cats. How is it going? I hope it's going fantastic. I am hot. We are firmly past false fall twice, I think, and we are in 27th summer. It is almost October. All I want are fall days now. I want sweater weather. I want to wear pants. I want to wear my knit socks. I'm so irritated and I shouldn't be because it is sunny and beautiful outside. It's 84 degrees or something like that. And I'm angry about it because I am ready for fall. It is flip-flop weather, but a bunch of the leaves from my maple trees in the front yard are on the ground. It's a wild time to be alive. It's a wild time to be alive. So I have a little fan on me, so I don't glisten. We are here to talk about the Stitching Monopoly game. My first video a few weeks ago or so was all about one of the boards and the 22 works in progress that I am currently working on with that board. That was my newest board, so it was mostly a tiny WIP parade because I hadn't only worked on but a few of those projects because the board just started. Next to me, I have 22 different WIPs, works in progress, that I have had the opportunity to spend some time on. Not everyone. I did not touch everyone, unfortunately. But that board is still going strong because of me. sorry for breaking up that monopoly, but not really, because this is a lot of fun. Yay! So I will show you those 22 works in progress. Plus, I think I have a finish. I have 2 finishes that came out of it, but I think I only grabbed one. So it's fine. We'll just get through it. And my eye is also really dry because of the fan. There we go. All right, ready? Let's go. I have my list down here on my iPad. I'm gonna look at you. I have my projects to my right, your left. Let's get started. Hopefully my cats leave me alone. Okay. First work in progress is gather here. This is, I started, all of these, you're gonna notice a theme. All of these I started 5,000 years ago. Just expect to hear it now. Doing my best. So gather here from Hello from Liz Matthews. I started this 5,000 years ago. I have worked on it 2 or 3 times, I think, with this, with this game, but also I tend to, once I work on a project, if it's not one that I don't enjoy, and I enjoy most of my WIPs, I mean, let's be real. Hi, Bree Bree. Maybe she'll claw on her little claw thing. If it's a work in progress that I am enjoying and I still have the desire to stitch, a lot of times I will keep it out for longer. So some of these projects I didn't just work on for the game, but I either picked up outside of the game or I kept working on it after I took my turn. So gather here, I am stitching this on something blue. That's not what it's called. It's just literally something blue. It's a Lugana. Probably, I am 100% sure that this is a, I'm just looking to see if I have the tag. That it is a Ship's Manor fabric. I belonged to Eric's fabric of the month for a long time. I would say at least 2 years, probably longer. It was a Prim colorway group, and I am almost certain that this is his, but this is where I am. So this is a 32 count Ship's Manor Prim. He only ever named them with a month, not even the year. So don't know. And the thread that I'm using is the Gentle Art Black Crow. So that's right here. And this is where I'm at. Still a lot more to go, but also making great progress. I do love this one. You'll probably hear that a lot too. I love this one. I love them all, of course. And this is one that I have worked on a couple times in game and then sometimes just because I like it. There's something very soothing about a monochromatic piece, in my opinion, because you don't have to think other than the counting. You just grab the floss and you keep it moving. And sometimes I find that to be comfort stitching, cozy stitching. That is WIP number 1. Trying to keep these in order, friends. Number 2 is a Mill Hill kit that I have had for 6,000 years. It is called Enchanted Pumpkin. It is, sorry, I just got a text from my husband and it came through on my iPad and it made me funny. It made me laugh. It was funny. So it was a kit. It came with this little button. I mean, it is a kit. It has beads and floss, and for some reason, this did get called once, I think, and I started, this doesn't look too bad. I started beading and I absolutely hated it. So then it looks like I did some more floss, but then I picked up the beading again and it didn't suck. And I guess I could just show it to you. So this is the part that I beaded. You can see it right there. And it's on 14 count perforated paper. Am I stitching it the way it's supposed to be, as in strands? Probably not. In these Mill Hill kits, they do often call for a different number of strands. Matte Purple Posy. Oh, I am. It's all 2 strands, so I am doing it correctly, thank goodness, because sometimes I don't. I've been working on this for so long. I am sure that this is featured in some of my old Flosstube videos. I'll get there eventually, maybe soon. It's pumpkin season. I mean, not according to the weather, but maybe. I don't know. But this is where we're at. And a girl can dream. A girl can dream. Number 3 is The Way to Happiness Stitch Along by Jardine Privé. That is awful French, but it's what I've got. This is also 6,000 years old. I started this project so long ago. So very long ago. I don't even know where I'm at, so I'll hush and keep it moving. This is being stitched on, this will tell you how old it is, a piece of 28 count linen that is from Fabrics by LJ. Lucas stopped doing fabrics 5,000 years ago at least. But here I am still stitching on this piece of fabric. I don't love it. I don't know what the base fabric is, but I have not enjoyed it for quite some time. However, the color is perfect for this, and it's almost done. It looks like I only have one. It looks like I only have one last part to do. I think I think that I only worked on this once for the game and then finished out the part 1, 2, 3. I think that's part 4. I think it's 5. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I finished it for the game and then I finished out this part. I don't know that I did this recently or if that was done before. I just don't remember. I am using most of the called for DMC. I do think that I switched out the words because the called for threads were blending in too much to the color. So, The Way to Happiness, keep your heart free from hate. I'm reading slowly because it's backwards for me. Your mind from worry. Right? Yes. Live simply, expect little, give much, scatter sunshine, forget self, think of others. As this gets closer to done, I like it more and more. Hopefully it's almost done because I'm almost out. I don't think that I do not have a picture, but I do have all of the pieces. Live simply, expect little, give much. And I only have this much left. So this one could be a finish either by having it called on my board. Oh my gosh, look, this thing is falling apart because it's 6,000 years old. I could finish it up if it's called, or I can just pick it up one day and finish it. Either of those things are possible. We'll just have to see. Need to finish it before this envelope falls apart. That was an exciting little thing to see. I love that for me. Okay, number 4, Sarah Davis Clon Melt. Also 6,000 years old. I remember purchasing this pattern when I was in Florida with my family in 2015. So the black and white print off, because it was a digital download, is here from Stitchy Box. Sarah Davis Clonmel, 6,000 years old. So we're working on it. I was doing a stitch along with Coffee Stitcher so very long ago. We were trying to do a row a month. He probably got farther along than I did, but I still don't think he's finished it. I also know the last time I worked on this, I did post it on my Instagram. Oh, you can see it right now. God, this is gorgeous. Ugh. This is being stitched on 36 count Vintage Country Mocha. I am doing most of it 2/2, which is not my preference. I don't know why I started it that way. Have no idea. But here we are. So I started this when I was just starting to get into overdyed threads, and I wanted to do each row in a different color, or each alphabet more like, because see, like these, you'd think these were in the same color, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So I just pulled colors that I liked and I just went with it. So none of this is called for colors. It's all just whatever I want to do. The last time I worked on it, I finished these 2 rows. And if you look very closely here compared to here, you will see that they're different colors. See how on this side it's a little bit darker. Oops. That was funny. Oh well. Oh well. So here we are. I'm pretty sure I am done. Ouch, I just stabbed myself. All the way up to these blue Algerian eyelets. So that's my next place to go. I have not worked on this in a very, very long time. Very long time. Probably a couple years. Oh. Very long time crossword clue. That's not it. So we'll get back to that. I do love it though. And I think it's funny, the fact that I mucked up those colors, but they're still so similar. It just reminds me of some of the samplers that I've read history on, where the little schoolgirls are just like, meh, and just change threads mid, change colors mid line. And they're like, that's me, meh. Number 5 is another Hello from Liz Matthews project that I love. I cannot wait to get this done and hang it up on my wall. This is a vibe for me, and that is After the Rain by, again, Hello from Liz Matthews. When I saw this, I internally wept, because I am so into the boho vibe, and this it gives all the boho vibes. And my office that we're working on in the basement is going to have that kind of vibe with the colors that I've chosen and what I want to do. I'm going to use like secondhand furniture as my like it's a whole vision that I have in my head, and I can't wait for this to be on the wall. It is close. So there are 5 rows of rainbows, and I have almost 4 complete. So it is very close. I am using, let me move my needle minder just a bit. I am using the Called For DMC super simple, very accessible. This is also a Ship's Manor Prim. This is July of what year? No idea. 32 count Lugana. And here it is. I love it so much. God. I love it. I can't wait for this to be done. Also, one that can be done somewhat quickly. I need to pay attention to this stuff. I need to get some finishes. I also might sneeze, so I apologize in advance. I think this box is a little dusty. Next is Snow Globe Ornaments by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. These are probably 2,000 years old. They're old. They're old, and I have a couple of them done, and I think I have 2 more to do. I'm trying to find the one that's done. So this is the one that I finished most recently, and I have it on my WIP list because there are more to do. And so when I finish one of the ornaments, I just go straight to the next one, like no big deal. It just all counts as one WIP for me. So I am stitching these on what I believe to be 14 count perforated paper in white. I thought I was going to do them in 18 because I have 18 count, but I don't know. I think this is 14. I used all of the called for DMC except and unfortunately I'm losing my light. I'll have to, hold on. Maybe I can do this. Ching! Oof. We'll see. If you can see, and you really can't, the snow and the snowflakes, but not this, because this is a reflection. But the snow and the snowflakes are in Krynic. You cannot see it. That's unfortunate because it's very sparkly. I'm using, yeah, it is sparkly. I am using this Krynic number 8, so that's fine, in 193. So it's just this opalescent, sparkly something. I love it. I think it's perfect for the little snow. Here is the first one that I finished just because it's in there, so I'll show you. Santa and Rudolph. Yeah, that is Rudolph, little red nose. They're looking a little googly-eyed. It said to, you know, outline their eyes, and I did, but his eyes were too small. Like, I should have, like, this guy doesn't look bad, this guy doesn't look bad, this guy doesn't look bad, but these ones look, they look. So the next time this gets called, I will actually have, I'll actually have like a new start. So I'll start a different one, and it will either be this penguin or this bear guy. I don't know which one. Have not decided, have not thought about it, but also getting in some winter stitching, like I'm starting to feel it. I kind of skip right over fall and go into winter. It's what I do. Except for it's still over 80 degrees. And so how can one get into the fall and winter spirit when you're sweating? I don't know how you warm climate people manage. Next is Gwen by Nora Corbett. This also is so very old. This was the first Nora Corbett / Mirabilia that I ever attempted. Oh, let me find the picture. This is what she looks like. These witches were very popular at one point when I started. I liked her because she's green. Green is my favorite color. she was small. The Nora Corbetts are generally smaller than the big, beautiful Mira ladies, right? So I was excited to start her. She is still, we're still rocking on her. We are at a point where I need to be beading. And for some reason, I just can't make myself beat her. Excuse me. Dust. But this is where we're at. Like, look, she's so very almost complete. This is 32 count, whatever it is, it's called for. 32 count desert sand linen by Witchelt. She is using all DMC. And I have the embellishment pack from wherever those beads are, you know, where they're from. I have to, which all beads? Mill Hill beads, glass beads. So I have not done one bit of beading on her, but I have done some of the back stitch. I do think there are more flowers that need to be done. So she's not completely done with stitching, but she's so close, and I could bead anytime, and I just haven't done it. I'll get there. WIP number 8, I did work on in March, I believe. It was called, it is my Adam and Eve chatelaine. This is another, looking to see if I have a picture. I don't know that I do. But this is kind of what it's gonna look like. Is that a chart? Kinda, if you can figure that out, good on you. I don't think that I have a picture, but Adam and Eve from Chatelaine, one of a few chatelaines that I have purchased, and the only one that I have started. I bought the whole embellishment pack and all the threads from European Cross Stitch a very long time ago. I'm assuming they still do it. Gloriana's in here, Petite Treasure Braid, there's a couple Karen Water Lilies. Yeah. And then also DMC. So when I worked on it, I didn't take my DMC, so I had to kind of improvise. So I added this time this T for Trisha, and then these leaves are Petite Treasure Braid, and within these leaves will be black work. So this is all that I have, and it's gonna be big. This is a 32 count, oh, it's on here, raw natural linen. So remember in one of my other videos, I said this was like I'm stitching this on a floppy linen and I'm using it for other things. This is the other thing. I think I bought a whole yard of it and then just cut it up to use it with things, because that's what I did. Will that ever get complete? I don't know. I don't know. Stop pressuring me. I don't know. I would love it hanging on my wall though. Next up is Hollow Eden by Plum Street Samplers. I have worked on this a couple times. Also something that I started several years ago. It's an older pattern because that's a picture. This is what it looks like. I have a lot of this done. I'm just kind of remembering. The last time I worked on it, I think I did Eve. Eve was my project. I don't have as much as I thought I had though. Here we are. This is on 32 count something from somewhere. Let me see if I have a tag. I try to keep the tags to my fabrics, especially if I'm only using them for one project. So this, I just made a note. Picture this plus Nessie. So that is what this is. I feel like this is not a 32 count. This is probably a 28 count. Here she is. I think it's so beautiful. I'm not using DMC. Did I say that? I'm using some of the called for threads, but I started this again when I didn't have a very big collection. So this is my conversion, if you're interested. I don't know, but it's looking beautiful. And I don't have as much as I thought I did. And also part of the issue is these letters are in Classic Colorworks Sticks and Twigs, and I don't have very much of that. And every time I go to order it, it is back ordered. So I'm gonna have to try again. Or I've already gotten some and I put the floss somewhere and I don't know where. Both of those things are likely true. But this, like, this is all I have. And that's not enough. And I don't see another skein in here. So future Trisha needs to figure that out and hope for the best when it comes to color lots, dye lots. Oops. Put the picture back in here. After this is Sweetheart Sampler by Blackbird Designs. Also one that I started a long time ago. Purchased it as a D-stash. And my heart hurts for this one because my dog got it. When Lola was a puppy. And this is what the edge looks like. Now, it doesn't, oh my God, like, it's fine. I can figure out the edge, but also this is a very out of print pattern, I believe. And it's, I don't even know what year it is because she probably, 2005. It's Blackbird and my dog ate it. But this is what it looks like. I purchased it, like I said, as a kit. However, the fabric that was in it, it was kitted by somebody. And the fabric was not big enough. So I ended up picking my own fabric. It is, ooh, this is a little bit of a mess. It was a Ship's Manor, I think, a 32 count Lugana, likely. If it's not Ship's Manor, I don't know who it belongs to, but gosh, I feel like its name was like something Bumblebee. I don't know, but also probably not. If it's Ship's Manor, it was a Prim Fabric of the Month, 32 count Lugana. This is where we're at. I really struggled with the rice stitches. They're the ABCD at the bottom. And I'm doing this 2/2, and I felt as if the rice stitches were too crowded. So I actually did one letter with 2 strands and one letter with 1 strand and asked my husband which one he liked best. And he said the 2 strands. So I picked out the 1 strand and I'm moving forward with these plump stitches. It's beautiful. It does have a lot of visual interest. Even though it's not as defined, but it's very textured. So this is where I'm at. Also one that I would love to see soon. Also one that I am not naturally drawn to because of the color changes. Each of the letters it's like I almost have to work in diagonal when working on the letters, or work my way down, because every other letter is a different color. So it's just, you have to find a rhythm. And I sometimes struggle with finding the rhythm when I work on this. And my dog ate it, and it makes me so angry. Lola is a chewer. She's still a puppy. We got Lola in October 2023. Yes, I believe. Oh, this needle is sticking right out of this bag. So she's getting better. That is not a great way to store something, just so you know. She's getting better, but also she still very much enjoys chewing on stuff she shouldn't. And she has also stolen skeins of floss for me before. Usually, I think the 2 times that I can remember right off the top of my head was floss that I was sorting for my nest egg. Shout out to 3L Nest Egg, a subscription service for overdyed threads. Check it out. The link's down below. Anyway, and I was sorting and getting ready to ship, and one of the skeins fell on the floor, and I found it in her dog bed, and she had completely chewed off the tag, and I was absolutely beside myself. So working with animals is rough, and this is why I am so motivated to get my office in the basement done, because the cats go down there, but the dog does not. And I would just have everything locked away from little puppy teeth. Next is Nottingham by Kathy Barrick. Fun fact, Kathy Barrick recently, at least recently at the time of me recording this, had listed some of her shop models, some of her design models on her Etsy shop, and Nottingham was one of them. And I looked at it and I was like, I could just buy it. I could just buy the sample, and it would be super tiny and stitched with silks, and I wouldn't have to spend the time doing it. However, I have already started this project, and I mean, got a decent amount. I was like, I should have bought it. I didn't. Somebody else snapped it up though. I don't have that much done. I could have absolutely bought it. Oh, so this is what Nottingham looks like. She big beast. I started this with Abby Bella Stitch. I'm sorry for the glare, but this just is my life. There we go. And I purchased the silk conversion from Vicki Clayton, and they are delightful. If you do not have any Vicki Clayton silks, I would encourage you to go check them out. I don't have a link right now, but you could just Google it if I don't remember to put it in there. Vicki Clayton is the designer behind Hand Dyed Fabrics. And if you've been in the community for a while, you will remember that she stopped dyeing silks for a while, and they became very hard to find, and people would sell their right kidney to buy some. I am also said people. I'm not like other people were, but I did get a small stash of Vicki Clayton silks, and then she started dyeing them again, and they're very reasonable and they're very beautiful, and she will convert just about anything if you ask her. So all that to say, here we go. This is where I'm at. This was called for Monopoly, I think just once, and I worked on, I think I did this and some of these little doodads, and then I worked on her skirt. This is on 32 count Lugana from Ship's Manor. This was his April prim, and I am stitching with one strand of silk over 2 threads. It is dainty. I think the coverage is beautiful. I do not mind that is only one strand. I love that it's only one strand. So if you are, this is just my little suggestion from a non-professional, if you are interested in stitching with silks, because they are, depending on what dyer you use, what brand, and this is what they come on, little spools like this. Depending on what brand of silk you use, they can be very pricey. They are not inexpensive. However, Vicky's are very reasonable, and if you are stitching on a tight fabric, you can get away with one strand. Even if you're not stitching on a tight fabric, you can get away with one strand. Depending on the look that you like, some people like really bold, fluffy stitches, and some people like the dainty look. I am a dainty look, so give it a whirl. Next here is needle small. This is a project that I had a friend who was stitching it and had to look far and wide to get this because it was an exclusive design that was at the 2017 Nashville market, and I think you can only get it. I don't know where I got, honestly, I don't know where I got it from. I don't think it was released into the wild. Needle small with magic power. And I am stitching mine on Mummy Wraps by Ship's Manor. I have the tag to tell me. And I am using a red Weeks Dye Works. Which one is it? I don't know. Hold on. It is Red Rocks by Weeks Dye Works. And I used this red because I love a red sampler for one, but also I double ordered this color in my nest egg several years ago. And I was like, what am I gonna do with all this? You can't really send it back. And it takes a couple years to get back to that color. So I did a few red projects with Red Rocks and it's beautiful. Put this back in here and I will show you where I'm at. Not super far, but not bad. I mean, not bad. I love this fabric. This is 32 count Mummy Wraps by Ship's Manor, and I am stitching this with the Red Rocks 2/2. Ooh, I'm losing light. So there we are. I have worked on this once in Stitching Monopoly. I think I might have worked on those numbers. I'm unclear. But I was happy to get that one back out because once again, I love it. I love it. I love them all. My little snap. Okay. Next is a stitch along that I never kept up on. It's called the Homely Houseplant Sale by Stitchonomy. She actually has Homely Houseplant 2, which I purchased, I think it was the next year. I have not started it, but I think I started this during Stitch Mania in 2020, which was like the last Stitch Mania. I feel like this was when I started it because I was super into plants. You know, some people went sourdough, I went plants. Wild. I am stitching this on, I think, a 28 count. This looks like it might be Picture This Plus Mademoiselle, but also it could be Fairy something. I don't remember, and I don't have, God, I thought I had more done than this. I don't have the tag. So also, do I have a picture? I don't know. Let me look. Yes, I do. Okay. So this is the picture from the printout, and I am doing the mid-century modern because I freaking love it. I just love it. This is another one of those pieces that I can't wait to be on my wall in my office downstairs because the vibe. So I better get on it though. Yeah, this is definitely a 28 count. It's huge. 2/2, and I'm using the DMC. The DMC is called for. Everything is called for. So this is a like a pilea maybe. I don't know. This looks like one of those prayer plants. And this is a pothos, but I don't know that for sure. The pattern tells me. I don't know. But I love it. And this I have not worked on yet. It has not been called for my Monopoly yet. Next is Three Snakes in Paradise by Kathy Barrick. This pattern I purchased in Las Vegas from Stitcher's Paradise. If you know, you know. This was a long time ago. I purchased everything at Stitcher's Paradise, and I also, this was the first, well, I kitted 2 projects at Stitcher's Paradise, and I got the NPIs for both. The first time, if you've been with me for a while, you will remember that I said that NPI silks are like stitching, or like sex on a string. They're beautiful to work with. They are beautiful to work with. And I have a little bit done. So this is what it looks like. The fabric that I chose is like a light blue, so I will not be stitching this in solidly. This is a full coverage inside. Not for me, friends. So other than that though, I have all of the called for NPIs. This looks to be a 28 count something. I think it was a scrap. I went through a scrap bin and she helped me. And I was gonna say something else, but I don't know what. So here we are, 28 count. Colby, get off. And here it is. So I still have to, obviously, I have to fill in all of these leaves. They are not all the same color, so there's starting and stopping. Need to definitely finish this part. I don't remember what I worked on the last time, but I know that I've worked on it somewhat recently, within the past year. They're looking good. It'll be nice to one day have that finished. Did I tell you it was 2/2? I am using 2 strands of the NPI over 2 threads on 28 count. Because when I started this, that's what I did. 2/2 on 28. Next up is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Zodiac Sampler. This came out in 2015, I think. And it was a yearly stitch along, and I am absolutely not caught up, but I have worked on this twice, I think, during Monopoly. Trying to see if I can find the printout. I still love this, even though it has been a slow go. I think it's just because it's so big. I don't love this Aida. I don't like Picture This Plus Aida. I'm probably in the minority, or at least way back when. It's very soft, which I love, but the threads separate easily. So I find myself breaking in to like the threads of the stitches, and I don't love that at all. So this is what the whole thing looks like. I am not doing these edges because I want to finish mine in a round hoop. I'm stitching it on 16 count Aida with the kitted flosses, which are right here. I did buy the kit with the fabric and the floss way back when. And I did switch out it came for the yellow borders, which you'll see in a second. It came with a silk, like DMC satin Is that what it was called? It was shiny, but it was really slippery and messy and I hated it. So I ended up purchasing, this is just a little bit, I ended up purchasing this variegated light green and yellow from Mo's sale, and it was called Cosmos. So it went, do I have some more somewhere. Where? I don't know. It's in here somewhere. But I think I've worked on this twice. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe. And the last time I worked on it, I put in Taurus. This is Taurus. I don't know what this is. Capricorn? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if they're in order. I'm not sure. But I put in this guy and this guy, I think. So here we are. I've got these ones ready for a couple more months. I mean, there's still a lot to go. But I do still love it. I don't super love that when I started it, like it was the biggest project I had ever, and I was just getting back into cross stitch. And so I was trying to grid it and I'm like, this is so stupid. I hate this. I'm never doing this again. And then it's like I couldn't find the middle and figure out how to count. It was very bizarre. Like I could not wrap my head around it. So I can see like a chalk line. You can't really see it on camera, which is good, but I used a chalk pen to like, I don't know, figure out where the middle was, I don't know. So now I see that chalk line all the time and I'm going to have to figure out how, and I don't know how. Okay, I have done something wrong. So anyway, stitching that 2/1 because it's Aida, and I did not point this out, but I guess I will. For the stars, like these right here and these little stars, I am using a Kreinik for some extra sparkle. You can't see it, but trust me, it's there. It's there. Someday. That's another one that I would really love on my wall. I've seen a few people over, 10 years finish it in a big round hoop, and it's just stunning. So that is my goal. This one back in its envelope. The next one I have not worked on at all. It is a plastic canvas project. I think it was Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world that I saw this on her Flosstube channel so many years ago. It's called, I don't know what it's called, but it's by Innocent Bones. This was in there. And I don't think that it comes with a picture, but this is where I am. It is with DMC. I bought the kit. Oh, boy. This is what it looks like. So this is what I've done. Or this is what I've done. And so that is literally the chart. And it came with all of the DMC. Oh, I've got a pair of scissors in here. Some stork scissors. Nice. Interesting. And I think it says that you're supposed to use like 3 strands, but there's no way. Yeah, you're supposed to use 3 strands. I cannot. I might have used 3 strands in the beginning, but I'm definitely using only 2 now. I don't know. I have not worked on this in a really long time. My thought is that it would be like easy to travel with. It really isn't. You still have to count it. And it's really hard on the fingers, really hard on the fingers. So that is plastic canvas, probably 18 count, 2 strands. Next up is Barnwood Buttons by Rosewood Manor. I have not worked on this in 6,000 years. Like, I remember starting this. I remember sitting in my corner. It was before I went back to work. It was probably, oh, I have something in my eye. It was probably 2015, 2016. I remember not having the correct floss and going with something different and hating it all along. I don't know what that means for me now. It is charted with Weeks Dye Works linen color, 5 skeins, 2 strands over 2 threads on 32 count. So this is what it looks like. I also purchased the button pack. So here are all of the buttons. And I started it using Bamboo by Classic Colorworks because I had a bunch of it. I'm only, there they all are. I'm only this far. I started at the bottom. I got this much done in the Bamboo. And the buttons, if you see, they're a little more like aged. They're more yellowed. And so I didn't love the way they looked. I thought the floss that I chose, the Bamboo, was too stark against the buttons that looked more aged. So I ended up purchasing several years later when I looked at this and I was like, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I ended up purchasing the skeins of Weeks Dye Works linen, but also the linen is super peachy. So, but also maybe it's closer. It's like, it's not right. This is almost pink, like porcelain doll pink. I don't know. Give me your advice. Like, I'm not so far that I can't restart it. No big deal. But also, I don't want to start stitching. I don't want to start stitching it with something that looks worse. I just think it's not right. That linen is definitely not right. It's like weird. It reminds me of like the weird flesh color that Prairie Schooler uses for their Santas. Like, it's just really pink, except for theirs is more orangey. I don't know. There's just something not right, and I haven't figured it out yet. So luckily I haven't had to figure it out for this board because it hasn't been called yet. But also, I need to figure it out. All right. Mary and Minty. This is number 18. Mary and Minty Stitch Along by Brenda Gervais. This was a freebie that she released in 2020. So I don't have a picture, but if you look at this, this is what it's going to look like. That is a very ragged pattern. I worked on this. I don't know that I worked on it because I had to, but I went on a little girls' weekend in May. I went away with some stitchers. We got a Airbnb in Ohio. There was, I don't know, 5 of us or something. And I did work on it while I was there, just hanging out. And I worked on this like candy cane border. It's all I've done. I mean, maybe I did Oh, I think I probably put this little snowball thing on. I don't know. I did some stuff. I might have done his hat. I can't remember. I did some stuff. This is, I am pretty sure, a 36 count linen of some sort. And I am using, I don't know if I'm using the called fors. It's 1/1. Avocado from Classic Colorwork. I don't know what's going on here. There's a big knot. Avocado from Classic Colorworks. A red something. Ribbon red. And then I don't know. These are some, I don't know. A white, probably bamboo. It looks like bamboo. But it could also be B5200. Who knows? Oh, look. I found a needle on the floor. I don't know what that goes to. Not this, but I'll put it there. Now that has 2 needles. That's crazy. And this little bit of red. So Mary and Minty, I don't know if you can still find that. You could look for it. Mary and Minty Stitch Along by Brenda Gervais. It was a cute little thing. I think she finished it on a block of wood or something. I don't know. I'll get there. Holiday stitching is coming up. Okay. Number 19. I have not had this called either. Excuse me. This is Happy Halloween from Friend Stitch. So there are these online gatherings put on by Heart and Hand and Bent Creek. And they're called Friend Stitch. There is a Facebook page you can look at. There's a private Facebook group that if you participate in a Friend Stitch event, and it's usually like a Saturday for 4 hours, you get access to the private group for a month, and then they close it down until the next Friend Stitch. So this one was last year, I think. Oh, my light ran out of battery. This was last year, and it was Halloween themed. And our exclusive pattern that came with a kit. So you buy it's like a retreat in a box. So you purchase the retreat, and it has projects and just fun things. Then there are extra things that you can buy if you want. With the kit, you can purchase the fabric that goes with it or not. I chose not. So this was, I'm trying to see if there was a year on here, and I can't see it. No year. Oh, 2023. 2 years ago? Anyway, this was the big project. I chose a green to do mine on. This, I'm pretty sure, is Ship's Manor. And this is as far as I am. All of the threads came with, so I'm using the kitted threads that look like they're all Classic Colorworks. And this is it. So it is, I've got some big things to do down here at the bottom, but not tons. I think I have everything else pretty much done. Yeah, just that stuff on the bottom. So I do love this one. Maybe I should just pull this out for fun to get it done. We'll see. And then the cool thing about the Friend Stitch thing too is it's virtual. So it's done on Zoom, and you get the designers behind Bent Creek and Heart and Hand. They talk about like their design process. A lot of times they'll have a special guest. I just did the winter one. Well, I did part of the winter one a couple weekends ago. I double booked myself on a Saturday, so I had to leave like 2 hours early. I was very disappointed. to do another crafty class with a friend of mine. We did a metal forging class, which was super fun. And so the box comes maybe 2 weeks ahead of the event, but you can't open it because you open it with everybody on the screen. There's like 500 people. We don't get to talk as participants. We can chat. It's on Zoom. And then there's usually a chart that is emailed to all of the participants if they want to stitch ahead. And then there's a finishing class included. I missed that part. That's when I left. The unfortunate part is if you have to leave, you really do miss out. It's not pre-recorded. It's not something generally that you can see again. Sometimes the finishing portion, they will leave up in that private Facebook group for a month, but sometimes not. So I haven't looked at the group to see if anything is done. I didn't do the pre-stitching, but all of the finishing accoutrement was included in the box, so you could finish it exactly that way. So I would check them out. They don't do, I mean, it's usually like posted, I think, on their Instagram, on one of their Instagrams, or both of them. And then it's in the Friend Stitch, all one word, Facebook group. I think they do them twice a year. I don't know. I missed 2024. Excuse me. Next one, if you watched my board 2, my first Flosstube a couple things ago, you already saw this, but if not, I will show you again. My WIP number 20 is the Prairie Schooler Santa. Again, I'm always keeping one of these on the go. When I finish one, I will just move on to another. So I was able to finish one already on board 3. I worked on it a couple times, I think, for a couple turns, and then I just kept it going. So this was 1992 Santa, the little lobster. And so here's my guy. I do these as called for, except for I generally will change the skin tone of Santa to a lot of different skin tones. And his beard, I generally use Whisper Thread for. I have in every one so far. That is my plan. But everything else is as called for. I stitch these on 18 count 18 count oatmeal, not Davos, because that's what you're supposed to stitch them on. And I use 2 strands. So I finished this one, and then I started 1994 Prairie Schooler Santa. I have not worked on this at all since 2 videos ago, but this is just in case. We're just going to be thorough. So this is where my next one is. My goal is to have a tree full of Prairie Schooler Santas. And if you look on my Instagram, which is 3 Owl Threads, you will see a post of a wall hanging that a wonderful friend of mine gave me. She made it, she said she put it together for me. She used to cross stitch a long time ago, like when these Santas came out. And she had cross stitched a bunch of these Santas. She knows that I'm stitching these, and she put a bunch of them into a wall hanging and gifted it to me at one of our quilt retreats, and I cried. It was the most beautiful gift I swear I've ever gotten. If you're on Instagram, go to my Instagram, 3 Owl Threads, and you can see just a picture, not a whole picture of it, but a picture of a lot of it. Wonderful. I plan on making mine into ornaments because I have a dream of having a whole Christmas tree with handmade ornaments. This is also a friend that gave me a large box of handmade ornaments that she and her mom made. My friend doesn't generally decorate for the holidays. She travels, she's older, she doesn't have any kids. She's like, meh. So she doesn't put up a Christmas tree. She knew that this was my plan and gave me a bunch of these ornaments. They are such a treasure for me. Such a treasure. Okay, 2 more. WIP 21 was Ye Old Crow by Heart and Hand. I actually finished it. I don't know exactly where the pattern is, but here's the finish. I finished it, see, 2025. I don't know when I finished it, a few months ago maybe. This is stitched on a 32 count something with, I'm pretty sure that was Onyx, Weeks Dye Works Onyx black. It's black. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It has the cute little buttons. Anyway, I decided when I finished it that I really wanted to do all of Cecilia's birds. So I started this one, which is the hummingbird sampler. And it also comes with 3 little buttons for the embellishments. And I have been working on it. This one, I think this one was called once. But I've been working on this a lot because it's easy for me. It is small. This is also on a 32 count. It's like an ivory linen. I don't know. I just found it in my stash, and I am using the Gentle Art Bayberry as the green. So this, never mind, I'm a mess. So this is where we're at. My hummingbird has no head, but I mean, I don't have tons to go, right? We're getting there. So this is something easy. I take this into my car sometimes if I'm going to be waiting in the car for a kid to do something, or, I don't know. And then this is the finish that I'll just put in there until I don't know when. And the last one I actually just worked on for my turn, and it is Quilts by Long Dog Sampler. I love this. This is, other than Death by Cross Stitch that I have this much done with and probably will never work on again, this is my first real long dog. Isn't it beautiful? If you're a quilter, for sure. And it's got all these fall autumnal colors. I love it. I am stitching it on, I don't know, a piece of linen, it looks like. For sure, 32 count. Silk Weaver, 32 count French Vanilla Swirl by Silk Weaver. There you go. And this is as far as I am. I am using a mix. I think it's mostly called for, but there are a couple. One color I'm using the DMC because I didn't have the Gentle Art. And there are 2 other Gentle Arts that I don't have yet, but I need to order them. So I just haven't used those colors yet. But most everything is called for. And this is where we're at. I love it. It's so pretty. It's just stunning in person. It won't, I think this is the middle, so it's not gonna go all the way over, I think. It's a pretty narrow piece, but it is also very long. And that's it. Those are my 22 works in progress that I have on deck for Stitching Monopoly. So I will do my best to include the link for the Stitching Monopoly Discord if you are interested. If you are interested in joining, there is a wait list. You can join the Discord. You can join as a lurker so that you can look at all the boards just to kind of get the lay of the land and see how it works. And then you can assign yourself like a waiting list role, and when a board concludes or when there are enough participants for a new board, you can get added. I know the hosts of the game are prioritizing new players over current players that want more boards. So new players will get in quicker than a current player who wants to join more boards, like I just said. So check that out. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I hope you are having the best stitchy day. Thank you for spending so much time. This long video. Thank you for spending so much time with me. I appreciate it. I appreciate your support. And I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. And so does Bree. Have a good night.